Well, I'm here at Cycle Gear to get that tire, so it's finally here. All right, so you got these two spacers. I didn't realize that they were in there. And when I took my tire into Cycle Gear, the manager's like, "Hey man, I don't want these because I'll end up losing them." So, but the one with the shoulder on it, this one right here, it goes on the sprocket side. You just push it in. And then the other one obviously goes on the other side where the rotor is. Here you go. Make sure those are in there on the correctly on the right side before you put the tire back on, okay? Okay, so taking this off by yourself really isn't too hard, but I think putting it back on, you got to kind of line up the wheel bearing to your swing arm and push that this axle shaft through. So I'm gonna have my wife push it through as I pick up the tire from the back, and it'd be much easier that way, I think. All right, you definitely will need two people to get that wheel back on. There's just a lot of different moving parts, and you got to get everything lined up perfectly for that shaft to go all the way through the places you need to get it through, you know. And the hard part, honestly, was this brake caliper. So you got to kind of hold the brake caliper in position over the rotor with that hole lined up with the hole on the spacer for that wheel bearing on the right side, and then have somebody push that shaft through and get it through all the different points it has to go through, like I said. So yeah, it's a two-person job putting it back on, in my opinion. But now it's good to go. See, that's going through my brake caliper. So now you could put this block back on here, and then don't tighten it, but put the washer on. Forget about that washer, remember? Okay. The last video I showed you how to remove this tire. Now I'm showing you how to set it back up again for a safe ride. Okay, so now I just got that barely on there. This thing can still move, see? Back and forth. And now I want to shove this wheel all the way forward and then get my chain back on, which we'll see how this goes. Okay, not too bad. Got it on. Yay! Now I gotta do the chain slack. I gotta tighten the chain, take all the slack out, get the right adjustment, which I already showed you how to do that in the last video. So there you go. So make sure that you now you want to tighten, or you want to force these adjusters back against that block to move this tire back and start tightening up the chain. Okay, you got one on each side. Remember those marks down here where this block is? You want to line up the edge of the block with the same mark on both sides while you get your 1 7/8 chain slackness. 1 7/8 from that point on the swing arm to the middle of that chain. Okay, and then you're done. And I would say the first 50, 60 miles, take it easy. Don't max it out. Just cruise it. Break in this tire, you know, because it's going to be a little slick on certain parts of the road, like where the painted lines are. Be real careful, especially in wet weather. And, you know, stay out of the middle of the lanes too, where all that oil and grease is. You're going to slip with this new tire probably. Yeah. So there you go. That's what it takes to get your tire changed out and put back on with a new tire there. It wasn't too bad, I guess. I just feel a lot safer now that I got this new tire. I'll let you guys know how it is. It's that Kenda brand. Probably the cheapest tire you could find online or anywhere for this bike. About a $100 tire. All right. Okay, before you check and measure your chain tension, the bike has to come off the stand and be on the tire. Okay, make sure you do that first. I didn't tell you the right way there. Yeah, that's how you do it. Okay, and then you want to make sure once you have your tension that this block is on the same line. It's like almost 4 lines right here. But every bike's going to be different because everyone's chain is stretched, a little more or it's a little tighter, depending on the wear and how many miles you have on the bike. So you just can't go by what I have it on mine. You got to do it yourself, and it's going to be wherever it's going to be. But it has to be the same on the same point where these tick marks are on this side as it is on the other side. That way your back tire is perfectly aligned. The axis is, it's not canted one way or the other. So that way your tire is going to wear correctly, and you're not going to have any kind of vibration when you're going on this bike at high speed. So yeah, over here you got lines. Sorry. Same as the other side. And so I have mine almost at 4 to the edge of this block here, down where those tick marks are. And then once you get that where it's supposed to be, now you want to tighten this up, lock it in place where you have it. But it's going to turn if you just try to use one 12mm wrench. So you got to either use 2 12mm wrenches or a crescent wrench and a 12mm. Hold the head of the bolt right here. Hold that in place with the one wrench, and then tighten, this nut here against the swing arm and lock it in. It's supposed to be 12 foot-pounds, but I mean, just snug it up real, tight, but don't over tighten it. You could snap that bolt. Okay. All right. Now, last step is well, actually, the last step would probably be adding some more lube on your chain and spinning the rear wheel up in the air on the stand. Make sure everything sounds good and looks good before you actually take it for a test drive. And I gotta find my wrench, my torque wrench. Okay, for those of you that have never operated a torque wrench before, the classic torque wrench looks like this. You got your foot-pounds, okay, and you should have another scale that's Newton meters, NM, okay, but we want to focus on foot-pounds. I think it's easier being in the US. Let's just stick with standard, okay? So you got these numbers on the bottom here, 0, and there's a tick mark. I'm sorry, there we go. So you got 0, then a tick mark, then 2, okay? That's your fine-tuning incrementation. But you want to rotate this clockwise, okay? And make it go up, because we're looking for 77 foot-pounds. Sorry, I'm trying to focus this in. Okay. So I'm coming up. And at the bottom of that little line that kind of, goes down and goes off to the right there, it kind of look like a little S there. The bottom of that is a number of foot-pounds that you're looking for, right? So we're coming up on 70, right? We're at, there we go. Sorry, man, I'm trying to focus this in. on the tool as I'm doing it for you. Okay, so we're coming up on 70. So right when this edge of this part here of this tool comes to the bottom of that line, there should be a 0. You should be right at 0. So, yep. So you see there's 70. See I'm coming up on it. Bam. That 0 mark line right on the bottom of that other line is 70. But now I got to 70 foot-pounds. But now I want to count over 7 because it's 77 foot-pounds. So that's 1. And there's your 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 77 foot-pounds. Now, you got a lock down here on the bottom. Twist it clockwise, and that's going to lock it in place where it's not going to move on you. All right, now you're good to go. And now you get your 32 millimeter socket, whether it's a deep socket or a standard, doesn't matter, because that's the size you need to fit over this axle nut. And then once you get it, oh yeah, make sure you're on flipped over to the right. There should be righty-tighty. Yep, it'll start to click like that. But when it gets to the right, you know, when it gets to that 77, it won't go any further, and it'll make like a little pop noise, like a clicking noise. That means you've gotten 77 foot-pounds. You hear that? Do it like 2 more times. Nope, not quite. Not yet. It gets a little bit hard. 77 is a decent amount of torque. Not yet. Oh, you hear that? Hear that? That means you bottomed out at your 77. Bam. I do it. Wrench fell off my seat there. I do it like 3 or 4 times to get to that click, make that click noise happen. That way I know it's 77. No guesswork or no mistakes there, okay? So now we're good to go. I got my tensioners secured, and they're locked in where I had them set according to the little hash marks there. It's almost 4. Real close, really close to 4 lines over from where they start over here. Got my 77 foot-pounds on my axle nut. Chain looks good. But like I said, I'm going to pop this up in the air real quick, spin the tire with the chain, make sure everything's tracking right, and I'm going to put some fresh oil on my chain again. Why not? Alright, everything looks good. I got it up in the air again with my Pitbull bike stand. And everything's tracking. It's not slipping off. Everything's running right and true on the sprockets there. I don't hear any weird noises. Okay. And there you go. Oh, by the way, I found out at Cycle Gear, they sell these Kendas on their from their store for $130. But on like Amazon, you could find them for I got mine for $102, but I've seen them different prices. But like, yeah, between $102 and like $110, $115, and then Cycle Gear is $130. So yeah, it's up to you if you want to buy it straight from the store or buy it online through Cycle Gear, or or if you want to get on Amazon like I did, whatever. But yeah, so yeah, the Cycle Gear does carry. I gotta clean these rims up again. They do carry the Kenda. Okay, they carry the Kenda tires, so that's good to know. Oh, and I had them look up these rims. I want to say on Partzilla, It was either RevZilla or Partzilla. I'm not sure which. I don't remember because he looked at a couple different ones. But they have brand new, these like gold rims. They're like 500 bucks. So just so you know, if you want an extra rim or whatever, yeah, they're like 500 a piece. Which I'm still contemplating doing that because it is nice to have an extra tire and rim and sprocket and rotor put together. So when you're getting a new tire put on, you don't have to worry about waiting for it to be, you know, when they get real busy. Because I'm telling you, man, there was like 15 guys in front of me when I dropped this thing off. But I mean, it took like 2 days, so they were pretty fast. And it's just 2 days, but anyway. All right, that's it. That's how you do it. Hope you enjoyed the video and hope it helps you out, man. Bye.